This is for Year 11 methods. State the implied domain, that is the maximal, that is the maximum possible domain that will be the x values that could possibly fit into there, remembering that I can't take the square root of a negative number and I can't divide by 0, are the two things that are going to cause me problems. So here I have a square root, so the bit inside the square root x minus 4 has to be bigger than or equal to 0, which means x has to be bigger than or equal to 4. So my domain is 4 to infinity, inclusive of 4, and my graph would look like this, so I can see that the range will be 0 to infinity, because the y values that are used are all of these y values. Yet the x values that are used are all of these x values. Okay, question part E. I've got a division by x minus 4. Therefore, x minus 4 cannot equal 0 because I can't divide by 0, which means x cannot equal 4. So my domain is all real numbers except for 4. And since I know this is a hyperbola, and the hyperbola has an asymptote at 4 and at 3, the range will be all real numbers except for 3. Okay, question number 5. Each of the following is a rule of a function. In each case, write down its maximal domain, in other words, its implied domain, and state its range. There isn't an issue with a linear 3x plus 4. Any value of x can go in there, so the domain will be all real numbers, and the range will be all real numbers. Y equals minus the square root of 16 minus x squared. Now this is a semicircle. It comes in the form of y equals the square root of the radius squared minus x squared. So I have the negative square root, and my radius squared is 16, therefore my radius equals 4. And it's centered at 0, 0, because I've got y by itself and x by itself. If I was to square both sides, I get y squared equals r squared minus x squared. Move the x squared over, x squared plus y squared equals r squared, which is a circle of radius r centered at 0, 0. So this is my circle. It's the negative square root from negative 4 to 4. If I was to consider the bit inside, I've got 16 minus x squared has to be bigger than or equal to 0. 16 bigger than or equal to x squared, so x squared less than or equal to 16, and there's my x squared less than or equal to 16 in between here and here. So, getting to the answer, the domain is negative 4 to 4, and the range, the lowest range value of y is negative 4, and the largest value is 0, and it's inclusive and inclusive. Inclusive of negative 4 because the graph gets down there, inclusive here and here, because I can put negative 4 in here and 4, I'd get the square root of 0, which is 0. So they're my answers.